Chrissy here. Lovely to see you. I am going to do a few readings. So let's get on the road. Firstly, I would like to welcome Night Eagle area, Erica C, Linda B, and Annie O. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you also to the other people who have subscribed. Not everyone's name comes up when they subscribe, so if I haven't mentioned you and you have subscribed, it's because I don't get an email saying such and such has subscribed. But thank you very much. I'm very humbled and honoured that you like what I do enough to subscribe to my channel. Wow, that reading I did on in the new year with Iran US tensions. Yes. The third party I mentioned, I mean, there's talk of it being Russia coming in and egging things on. Wouldn't surprise me. I still seem to think it's another country that's quietly saying, hey, look, we've got to, but I can have another look at that later. But yeah, Trump went and did, of course, something very Trumpian, something he said that Obama would do to get re-elected in 2011, which Obama didn't do, which was create a war or a military crisis, to buck up his numbers or whatever. But of course, if Trump says somebody else is going to do it, it's sure as heck something that he's got in his playbook to do it sometime in the future. And he was threatening to bomb cultural sites, which is against the international law. It's still not enough to turn Republicans against him. I'd like, and I know it's caused some worry for a lot of people, worrying about, because more troops were sent over, and can cause stress and worry. So I'm going to have a look at the next couple of months with the Middle East situation, with Iran and Iraq, with Iraq asking them to withdraw their troops. They've scaled that back a bit now, just get rid of combat troops, leave the training troops and those troops who are, there, but get rid of the combat troops that they look to be sending. Trump says he doesn't want a war. He doesn't want troops in endless wars, and what does he do? There's talk that Pompeo egged him on, and that Pence is like, wow, really had a come to Jesus moment over it. Apparently somebody said something quite crude on black and orange. We'll call it a come to Jesus moment over it. Anyway, so I'm going to use the Modern Tarot Readers deck that I have here. This is the Modern Tarot Readers deck. It is by I've got to move the boxes that are sitting onto it. I've got like 4 decks out. The Modern Tarot Reader by Claire Goodchild. It is an interesting deck. It's the one I use for the reading on Bar's health. And I'm going to have a look at an overview for the region. It's not just, Iran's just, right, we're not complying with anything with the treaty we signed, or bets are off there. So it's not just the US that Trump has put in danger, it's the rest of the world. I just think world leaders have to shut down and say, look, we're not prepared to talk to or deal with Trump or Pence. We will deal with Pelosi and McConnell in their stead, but we're not prepared to deal with any of the current administration, including Pompeo, because of course they won't do that, but I just think they just have to say, right, all agreements are shut down and on hold until he's out of office, because we can't do it anymore. We can't. So anyway, but first I am going to look at the first quarter of the year for Iran, Iraq and the US, for that whole region. What is going to happen there? I'm going to do an overview with a few extra cards in some positions. So like the current influences, I'll do one for January, one for February and one for March, and the immediate outcome, I have 3 of those, and then and then we'll go on from there. So basically free all around, with the same with what's over the situation, what's under it as well, with just the 2 end cards being not multiple. So, and the middle one, the whole situation, the center of the situation, an overview spread. Okay. The 3 of blades, the 3 of swords, betrayal, heartbreak, betrayal and heartbreak. There's, Iraq feels betrayed. Quite a lot of America feels betrayed. This, and they're not, most of them understand it's Trump. But still, it's hard to get, it's hard for them to be very forgiving about things. So that's on the base of the cards. So that was the base of the cards, betrayal and heartbreak. So the center of the situation. This is the Ace of Blades, the Ace of Swords. The truth is going to emerge about this attack. Congress wants to know, because unless they can prove imminent attack, imminent threat, like if we didn't act now, tomorrow we would have had dead people all over the, in a major attack. Or in a few hours he would have called this major attack. He's broken the law. Okay, so current influences. I'm going to do January 1st. So current influences in January. The moon. Lies, deception, lies coming to light. Look at this. A very shiny skull. I'm sure that's what Trump's forehead is like under his toupee. Nice and shiny. We've got a wreath of leaves there, or flowers of some sort, and purple flowers. I'll just grab the book on that. I do like this deck. It's very interesting and different, but I'm not overly familiar with it, so I'm just going to grab the book and find out what those flowers are and what their meaning is. So element water, companion the hermit. It's full of illusion and mystery. Yeah, he's going to try to gaslight everyone. Illusion, unknown, deception, danger, fantasy. So that's he's put US on the path to the unknown. He put on the path to danger through his deception and just acting rashly. So what's above the situation for January? The Nine of Coins. He's convinced that we're sitting pretty in Iraq and we can do what we like there. You know, threatening Iraq with sanctions and severe sanctions if they throw the troops out. I don't blame Iraq for wanting to throw. I thought it was all foreign troops, but apparently it's just the US. You know, this is often called the sitting pretty card, the card of autonomy. And yeah, it's his belief that he is autonomous and he is a complete autonomous being and doesn't need approval from anyone to do anything. That's what's overriding the situation as well. He wanted to do it. He wanted to make a statement, and he did the most drastic thing. Apparently, I read an article today that's saying when Mattis was in power, he would never have included killing Soleimani in options, and it was put down as the most dire and extreme option. And they were flabbergasted when he chose it. Yeah. Okay, immediate. Now, what's going, the most immediate thing, or what's the most imminent influence or imminent event to happen in January? It's the Seven of Blades. It's the Seven of Swords, which is, getting away with stuff. It's about, you know, getting away with murder, basically. That's what people are feeling. That's what they're feeling at the moment. That's the immediate impact. People, you know, a lot of people they've caught it, what it was, an assassination. And they feel that he's gotten away with murder, and they're not happy about that. And it's not just Iran, but a lot of other people feel that way too. It was not justified, and it can't be justified, and it's you know, just wrong. So it's him sneakily. It was a sneak attack, a sneak strategy. It was dirty and underhanded, basically. And that's the way everyone is seeing it, and that's why people are so upset. Dirty, underhanded, getting away with murder. Yeah. What is at the base of things in January? The Page of Swords. Disappointing news, and this soften the page. This soften the card of the spy. I didn't get that feeling with this. What I got with this blade going through the page's head, through the skull, is Trump's head is going to ache. He has caused his head is going to ache from all the kickback he's going to get from all the condemnation, and yeah, his head is going to ache like crazy. Now I'm going to do past actions that have led up to this before I move on and do the other 2 months, February and March, and then February, March, and then I'm going to put in the next step, which will be at the end of March. So past actions that have led up to this. Queen of Wands. Yeah. Impeachment. This is Nancy. This is impeachment. He's going to blame Nancy Pelosi. He feels like, but it's the act of impeachment that pushed him into a corner, and he was looking for anything to divert. It's his need to run away and divert from impeachment. That's what's led to this. Not the fact that he was impeached, it's his way of diverting from impeachment. But he's going to blame the impeachment process. At some stage he's going to come out and say, well, you know, if I wasn't being impeached, that in his mind, all this happened because of the impeachment. It's their fault for impeaching him. What a knob. What a knob. Okay. So, February. Influences during February. Knight of Rods. Action. Offers of action. And how this influence is going to, at the moment it's still all secretive and it's all about Trump, but we're talking about the whole thing in general and the whole area in general as well. So this month it's all going to be about Trump, me, and how it's going to affect me and how they're targeting me and blah, 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 blah. February, this is the same thing. It's an offer. It's a third party stepping in and saying, hey, look, you've got to pull back a bit. You know, in the classic Rider-Waite, the knight is pulling the reins back on the horse who wants to charge ahead. This is a third party coming, because I think there's something going to happen later in January, which is going to stir up the tensions again. It could lead to another action during February, but I think somebody's going to come in, and a third party country is going to come in and say, hey, look, this, you know, this has got to be settled down. Who that is, I just had Britain, the UK, pop into my head. I might do a clarifier on that later. Now, what's going to be over the whole situation in February? Blades, there's swords all over the place here, and the Eight of Swords is people are going to feel backed into a corner. The whole region is going to feel backed into a corner. You know, Iran's going to feel like they've been backed into a corner. Trump's going to feel like he's been backed into a corner. Iraq is going to feel like that too, that they've been put in an impossible position and backed into a corner. And that's just going to escalate tensions more. The fact is, Trump created this situation for all of them, for all three countries. And, you know, he's the one that bound everyone up and backed everyone into a corner and, you know, created this. It's like they're all stuck in this circle with swords all around, and if they don't go between there's only like one or two ways you can exit safely. And if you don't go between the correct pairs of swords, the ground will give way and the swords on either side will boom, and just cut you in half. You have to go through, and that's going to be hanging over the whole situation in January. Say hello, Bubba. Say hello, and then Mummy's going to put it on pause and put you down. Okay, Cameo's saying hello. Yes, you are, aren't you, sweetheart? We'll just pause that. So she's just say hello. Anyway, so that's February. I mean, things are just This January card, the other thing that popped into my mind is sitting pretty, keeping things steady and stable, maintaining the status quo. Well, he's upset the status quo. That's the other thing that's entered into my mind when I looked at this. By doing what he'd already upset the status quo, but they'd come to a new sort of trucey place, you know, by withdrawing from that deal. But they'd come to a new level of wariness, and he'd upset that status quo again. Anyway, so this is February. They're going to feel like if they're not worried about how they do things, the ground's going to give way beneath them, and they're going to get cut off at the knees by falling swords. You know? So, immediate most immediate concerns during February. So during January, of course, it was, you know, the perception that he'd gotten away with murder and stuff, and yeah, so the most immediate concerns during February are going to be, the Knight of Swords. That someone's going to charge in and take action that's going to make things worse. That's what that is. And cause headaches all round. Headaches all round. That's the Knight of Wands. You know, the Knight of Wands charges in to save the day or create chaos. In this case, it's a creation of chaos card. That's going to be that's going to be the concern for most of February, that this is going to happen. That somebody is going to just charge ahead. It's not necessarily Trump. It could be somebody else, like somebody in Iran or somebody in Iraq, that they're going to charge ahead and create chaos. Now, underlying the whole situation in February, okay, an effort to work together. 3 of Coins. This is, yeah. A realization. This is a realization, I think, more than an effort, that they're going to come to a realization during February that all 3 countries need to work together, or if not in concert together, like through an intermediary. I feel like this is Iraq. That Iraq is going to maybe end up as the mediator in the situation. The Knight of Rods is somebody coming in to help with them. So that is to help with Iraq, with being the mediator. And yeah, that's what I feel like. This is Iraq and this is Iran and the US, and they're going to slowly going to work towards it being a thing of mediation. I'm going to have a look at, do a clarifier on that, and because I don't see mediation being possible while Trump's still in office, so I don't know. So we'll see. Now, March. What will be the influences on the situation in March? The high priestesses, secret agendas. But that's what immediately comes to mind with a lot of people with the high priestess. But this is a flower. This is a white flower. It's a peace, and you know, the high priestess is also all about wisdom. Sense of wisdom prevailing, I think, during March. Yeah, and new agendas being set, not secret agendas, but new agendas being set. But with some wisdom, listening to somebody's wisdom, I think, this country, and yeah, making wise decisions to set new agendas, I think. I could be trying to put a happy spin on that. I mean, the first thing that popped to mind was hidden secrets and hidden agendas, but really, Iran doesn't really have any hidden agendas here. The US, well, Trump might, but the more I looked at this card, the more I looked at those white flowers, the more I felt like it was more the wisdom that the high priestess represents, the wisdom asserting itself and maybe working together to new agendas. I'll just have a drink. Okay. Now, what's going to be above the whole situation during March? So we are into March now with this. The Lovers. New partnerships, working towards new partnerships. New ones, not old ones. New commitments. Again, this just seems to me to be not anything that's ringing of Trump, so I don't know. It just seems to me like February Trump's there and March is not, with regard to the Iranian situation. I don't know that. That's just what I'm feeling when I see these cards. New blood starts pumping through the region again. I mean, new blood, new hope, you know, a new life with a partnership or a new relationship. And you know, the Lovers usually represents two people, but they're committed to each other. So new commitments and new relationships could be between more than two people or more than two parties. What will be the most immediate concern during March? Elixirs. The Ace of Cups. Yeah, again, new relationships. The Ace of Cups, new relationships, renewal of an elixir. An elixir is designed to help make things better. New relationships, things being made better. And what's underneath at the base of the whole situation during March? The Five of Elixirs, the Five of Cups. Not crying over spilt milk. The Five of Cups is often the don't cry over spilt milk card. It's a card of loss. It's a card of regret. I don't think it represents loss in this. I think, yes, there is some regret. but I think it represents also the don't cry over spilt milk message of the Five of Cups. Cyanide pills right here in the middle, which are nasty. But you've got morphine, which is a painkiller. There's still going to be, there's regret and pain over past actions in a killing. But, the whole message is going to be don't cry over spilt milk. So what is the next step going to be at the end of March? So this is why I'm going to put this card down. The next step at the end of March with the Iran-Iraq-US situation. The Hierophant. Government. New governments. I know Iraq has elections due. New government. I don't think it's new government in the US because we're looking at after March. But it also March onwards, things are going to step into real high gear with the US elections, and maybe thinking about looking towards putting tensions on hold a bit while the Iran and Iraq look at what happens with the US elections, and Iraq have their own elections. So maybe a stepping back and waiting situation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that Three of Swords, heartbreak and betrayal. That's at the base of everything. It was a betrayal, and it did cause heartbreak for a lot of people. Yes, he was a bad actor. I'm not particularly concerned that he's dead, but you kill one cockroach, there's plenty of others to take their place. So I don't see what it achieved. I'm not happy he's dead. You can't wish death on anyone. That's just not right. Justice. You wish justice on people. And maybe it was justified to some extent, but not at this time. I don't feel it was justified to happen at this time. So anyway, I'm going to do some clarifiers on a couple of things. So, the truth coming out about the whole situation. Let's have a look at that, clarify that. Yeah, King of Wands. That is Trump at his worst. Impetuous, unstable, snarling, snappy. You do what I say and accept the way I do things. You pay us for an expensive base if we're going to pull out because, all that sort of crap. Truth, so that's his actions. And of course, Wands are all about actions. The truth is going to come out about the actions of the King of Rods, Trump. I'm going to ask, is this third party offer of help, is it the UK? I'll do a yes, no on that. Is it the UK? Four of Coins. No, it's not the UK. Somebody who wants to cling to their influence in that region. Is it Russia? Two of Swords. Maybe Russia. yeah, maybe it's Russia who's going to put up their hand and try and be the good guy. Anyway, so let's have a look at the next step here with what happens after the end of March with the Hierophant, with government. Let's get a bit of a clarification on what that means. This just flew out. King of Blades, King of Swords. Right through the year. Often it's investigations. This is this government investigations into the administration's role in Trump's actions, not into Trump. That's the 10 of Cups. Investigate. That's the GOP. Wisdom elixir, harmony elixir, calming elixir, happiness elixir, love elixir, passion elixir. Yeah, it's the GOP and their, you know, their false claims. You know how all of these elixirs that the carpetbaggers or whoever used to sell. Snake oil salesman. That's it. Snake oil salesman. This is going to be investigations into the GOP and the members of the GOP in their role in urging Trump to do this and also trying to cover for him, but I don't think they're going to be able to. I'm going to ask one more question. Will things settle down? I'll do a yes-no triad. Will things settle down in the second quarter of the year? Will this good movement from March continue into the second quarter? Will this settling down from March continue into the second quarter of the year? Eight of Rods, yes. Elixirs, Page of Cups, that's good news. Queen of Cups, or Queen of Pentacles, yes. Resources, yeah, and stability, and yes, there's going to be, things are going to, they're all yes cards. Things are going to settle down quite quickly into the second quarter. There'll be some news about the area. And I think there's going to be a more realistic view is going to be taken of things, not too panicky and not too dismissive. Things are gonna and not so reactive. So a more realistic view is going to be taken. This is the Queen of Pentacles. This is a woman. I'm going to ask one more question. So yes, things look like settling down in the second quarter. I'm going to ask one more question of this government card. Will Trump be in office at the end of March? Will Trump be in office at the end of March? Seven of Wands. The Star, that's a yes. Page of Swords. Yes. Yeah. Now, they're all saying yes, but the cards telling me one thing and my instinct is telling me another. I'm going to put another layer down. Justice will, he is going to be, but there's hope to get rid of him. Page of Rods, there's news. There's going to be news about him. And there's going to be a feeling of justification. Seven of Rods is he's going to be defending himself. This is March. There's going to be news about him. It's going to bring some hope. Nine of Cups, greedy merchant. King of Cups, a calming presence. Yeah, I think he is, but I don't think it's going to be for long. Anyway, footprinters, that is my reading on the Iran-Iraq US situation in the next 3 months, with a little bit of a side trip to see if Trump's still going to be there. I could be wrong about him still being there. But all of the cards were yes cards, but with some qualifiers to them. So I will set this to upload, but while it's compiling I'll probably do another couple of readings. So love you all, footprinters, and I'll see you at the next reading.